Torrential rains created all kinds of problems across our viewing area today, but we aren't out of the woods just yet. We'll have all of that, plus more repairs are needed at the Ferdinand Library, what's needed there, and Joan Canese with Crisis Connection is tonight's guest on Inform. All of that and much more is up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. April showers turned into torrential rainfall and made for a difficult morning commute today across the viewing area. Several roads in Du Bois and surrounding counties were closed this morning due to high waters. The most notable of these was Interstate 64 westbound between mile markers at 67 and 68. That stretch of road was closed for more than 4 hours this morning, and state police rerouted traffic north and south at State Road 37, exit 79. The road is open again and the detour is no longer in effect. Other local road closures this morning included Schnellville Road, Cuzco Road, Jasper Du Bois Road, and 1st Street and Cherry Street in Huntingburg. Du Bois County EMA Director Tammy Miller says people need to stay away from the floodwaters.
As the old saying goes, turn around, don't drown. I mean, we're asking everyone to avoid driving through any kind of flooded waters, especially like when it's dark outside, you can't even see what's going on. But we highly recommend that everyone turns around and finds an alternate route.
The rain additionally caused problems for the town of Ferdinand. Officials at the town's wastewater plant say the plant went down this morning after 2 of the main pumps were knocked out. The plant is now back online. Ferdinand got nearly 6 inches of rain over a 2-day span, and nearly 5 inches of that fell last night and into this morning. As for the rain, Southern Indiana Weather.com meteorologist Michael Wilhite says this storm dumped quite a bit of rain on the viewing area. He also says rain chances are set to stick around.
There's more rain Sunday night as if we need it. I mean, I'm looking at rainfall estimates right now, and it looks like 4 to 5 inches area-wide is what the radar say estimated for storm totals up higher. But there's another rainmaker on Sunday evening and then during the day on Monday. It doesn't look as potent as this night.
Now, officials with the Indiana Department of Transportation have announced several state roads that are closed across the area. Those are currently listed on your screen. We'll have more on those pesky rain chances coming up later on in your local forecast. Turning now to other headlines, the man accused of killing a Washington teen back in December has now learned his fate. During a sentencing hearing yesterday, 18-year-old Logan Evans was sentenced to 45 years in prison for shooting and killing 17-year-old Devin Burris. The shooting took place in the early morning hours of December 6th in the parking lot of the Ebenezer Baptist Church located along Oak Grove Road in Washington. According to police, Evans shot Burris during an attempted drug deal after Burris and an unidentified man began attacking 19-year-old Lucas Benjamin. The hearing was filled with emotion on both sides. Letters from Tammy Burris, Devin's mother, and Sheila Evans, Logan's mother, were read during the hearing. Judge Dean Sabecki also stated following his announcement of Evans's sentence that no court would be able to fix everything and make it the way it was before. Meanwhile, Davies County Prosecutor Dan Murray praised the efforts of Washington police detectives, Davies County Sheriff's deputies, and Indiana State Police in getting Evans convicted. Court proceedings for Evans's cousin, 18-year-old Heaven Berry, as well as for a 14-year-old juvenile male in the case, are still pending. Benjamin was sentenced to 30 years in prison last month. A Tell City man was taken into custody after an online photo led police to a liquor still located in his home. State Excise Police say their investigation started back in February after they received a tip about a photo posted on Facebook of something that appeared to distill liquor. Additional photos and posts were found, and police say those indicated that the man involved, 39-year-old Jeremy Thompson, was making and selling untaxed liquor in his home. Excise Police went to Thompson's home yesterday to execute a search warrant. Evidence taken included a distilling apparatus, containers with liquor that Thompson had made, a hydrometer, and other devices. Thompson was taken into custody following the search. He is facing preliminary Class C misdemeanors for possessing unlicensed equipment for making alcohol and for selling untaxed alcoholic beverages. He also faces 3 Class B misdemeanors, and one of these is also for selling untaxed alcoholic beverages. The other 2 are sale without a permit and unauthorized dealings. State Excise Police say producing unregulated alcohol is a public safety concern that cannot be ignored. They say officers will continue to crack down on cases such as this one. The Ferdinand Library is now in need of some repairs. Last night, the Du Bois County Contractual Library Board heard that maintenance staff at the library found that boards under the overhang on the Ferdinand Library building were splitting. Contractual Library President Kathy Tretter stated that the boards were made of a material that was under a 90-year warranty, as they were supposed to last for a long time. The boards were originally put in by Universal Design, and they are working with Seifert Construction to find a solution. Tretter says these problems could have been avoided.
We're hoping to get that rectified. Of course, nice weather's coming, and that'll be a good time to make any kind of necessary repairs, but there's no reason this should be splitting. It's kind of in I think, what you would call a protected area, so something is faulty with the material.
In other business, the board discussed several upcoming events, including National Library Week. That is set for April 13th through the 19th. Though this year's plans are still being ironed out, Tretter offered up an idea for next year's event.
I'd like to have John Green and some of the other authors who are particularly gearing their work. Young adult fiction is big, so they're gearing their work toward preteens and teens, and we feel like it could really be a neat thing to have those kind of authors. There's 3 of them that live in Indianapolis area, so it would be perfect.
In final notes, the board received an update on the ongoing small claims court process for folks with overdue materials. Board Attorney Bill Schoenfeld reported that more than 50 letters were sent out last month to start the process. Folks with more than $100 worth of overdue materials that don't pay their fines would then go to small claims court. There are also several events coming up at the libraries, as mentioned. In addition to National Library Week, World Book Night is coming up on April 23rd. At least 10 to 15 volunteers will be handing out books as a way to encourage folks to read. The libraries are also set to hold Staff Development and Appreciation Day coming up on May 16th. The board voted to close libraries on that day. Governor Mike Pence is proclaiming next week, April 7th through the 11th, as Work Zone Awareness Week in Indiana. The week marks the ceremonial start to highway construction season, and it is designed to bring awareness to motorist and worker safety in work zones. INDOT is planning to invest nearly $800 million in highway construction projects this year. They say thousands of vehicles drive through their workplaces at high speeds, and driving safely is critical for all involved. Motorists in Indiana face fines of up to $1,000 for speeding and up to $5,000 for driving recklessly through work zones. Drivers who injure or kill a highway worker could face a $10,000 fine and up to 8 years in prison. By highlighting the consequences, the intent is to inform drivers and to encourage everyone to drive carefully in work zones. On a bit of a related note, April is also Distracted Driving Awareness Month. The Indiana BMV, the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute, the State Department of Labor, State Police, and INDOT have all partnered to award $5,000 scholarships to high school and college students who compose the most creative and viral social media posts on Twitter, Instagram, and Vine. The Drive Now, Text Later campaign runs all through this month. Go to textlater.in.gov for contest rules and information. Finally this evening, Indiana's Seed Commissioner has asked the federal government for permission to allow Hoosier farmers to begin growing industrial hemp under new state regulations. Robert Waltz said yesterday that industrial hemp cannot be legally grown in Indiana until the state obtains federal approval. Although the legislature approved a measure allowing hemp to be grown in Indiana, the state still needs permission from the USDEA and the U.S. Department of Agriculture to do so. Waltz says the approval process could take several months, and even then, hemp growers and handlers will need a license and will have to adhere to stringent state regulations. Hemp is marijuana's non-intoxicating cousin, but it cannot be grown under federal law without permission. Many products made from hemp, such as oils and clothing, are legal. All right, coming up after the break, your local forecast, sports with Kurt Gooksell, and Inform featuring Joan Canese with Crisis Connection. That's all up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.